It's your weekly video. Let's talk about slavery in America, happening right now in your state. Yes, because the 13th Amendment allowed slavery to continue in America so long as it was punishment for a crime, which means that in all 50 states, prisons are currently forcing people to take jobs that they would not choose to take and do labor they would not choose to do and not paying them for it, paying them pennies per hour. To give you an example, in California state prisons, there are tens of thousands of people doing jobs ranging from firefighting to electrical to carpentry, janitorial, like cooking, everything, all the jobs. And most of them are making about 74 cents per hour. In a state where the minimum wage outside of the prison is $16 per hour. So let's reframe this. Companies that would normally have to pay people at least $16 per hour are being able to get that labor for pennies. And what's more, these companies are allowed to double dip. There are tax credits available to companies that utilize prison labor, meaning that in addition to not having to pay people wages, they also get tax credits for having chosen to use a form of labor that is slave labor. It's wild. There's a ballot measure right now in California that's really interesting. It's Proposition 6. To my knowledge, it doesn't have any opponents, which would basically end forcible labor of this kind, basically saying that people in prison cannot be punished if they choose not to take a job that will exploit their labor for pennies. But that's not the same as actually paying people meaningfully for their meaningful work, which could actually really benefit public safety. Think about it this way. 95% of people come home from prison. When they come home, what do they need to do well, to be safe? They need the ability to sustain themselves, to bridge until they can find a job, which we know is harder when you have a record, and also to be able to rent a place to stay, right? You can't do that without a nest egg. You can't make a nest egg on 74 cents an hour. So by refusing to pay people for their labor and using slave labor in prison, we are creating crises when people come home. The kinds of crises that can actually force people to break the law again, and that can at worst make us all less safe. We should just pay people for their labor.